In the heart of a sprawling metropolis, where the streets pulsed with neon lights and ambition ran faster than the subway trains, lived a 29-year-old marketing executive named Haruto. Every day was a cycle of meetings, deadlines, coffee-fueled nights, and a phone that never stopped buzzing. He had everything he once dreamed of: a high-rise apartment, a six-figure salary, and the newest electric car. Yet something within him was growing quietly hollow. There was a sense of being lost, not in the streets, but in his soul. One late evening, while scrolling through endless reels of productivity hacks and meditation tips, he paused on a short video of a monk sitting silently by a lake. The caption read, "Meditation is the cure for the modern mind." Haruto scoffed and muttered, "Easy for monks to say. They don't have to sit in traffic for 2 hours." But something about that stillness stayed with him. It was the first moment in weeks that his inner world didn't feel like a spinning carousel. He sighed, closed the video, and whispered to himself, "Should I be meditating too?" Chapter 1. The Temple in the Concrete Jungle. A week later, driven by restless curiosity and burnout, Haruto visited a small Zen center tucked between a laundromat and a ramen shop. The sign read, "House of Stillness, Zen for Everyday Life." Inside, incense drifted like a whisper through the air. Candles flickered gently in a darkened hallway. A kind woman in a black robe welcomed him. "I'm Reika," she said, bowing lightly. "First time?" Haruto nodded, slightly embarrassed. "I'm not very spiritual." Reika smiled. "That's okay. We teach people how to sit with themselves. That's spiritual enough." He was introduced to Sensei Daigo, a calm-eyed man in his 50s who wore jeans beneath his robes and carried a quiet energy like a still pond in a storm. "I work long hours," Haruto said during their chat. "I want to try meditating, but I just can't sit still. Does that mean I'm not cut out for this path?" Sensei Daigo chuckled softly. "You live in the city. Your mind is trained to chase, not sit. You don't fail because you can't meditate. You fail only if you never ask why you're running." Chapter 2. The fast-lane mind Haruto committed to attending a weekly mindfulness group at the center. Each evening, he'd leave the glass towers of downtown and descend into the earthy simplicity of the Zen room. But every time he sat on the cushion, chaos erupted inside. To-do lists, upcoming presentations, old arguments, missed emails, they all flooded in. He peeked around. Everyone else looked serene, still and peaceful. "What's wrong with me?" he wondered. After a particularly frustrating session, he pulled Reika aside. "I think I'm doing this wrong. I'm more stressed during meditation than I am outside of it." Reika smiled gently and handed him a cup of tea. Meditation doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes it brings the truth first. And the truth is, we are all very, very tired. Chapter 3. Zen in a Suit and Tie. One morning, on the subway to work, Haruto closed his eyes, not to escape, but to breathe. Just 5 conscious breaths. No mantra, no app, just the rhythm of the train and his lungs. Something shifted. He wasn't meditating in the traditional sense, but for the first time in days, he wasn't lost in thought. He simply was. Later that day, during a tense boardroom argument, he stayed silent. Not out of fear, but clarity. He listened, truly listened, then spoke just one sentence that dissolved the conflict. His coworker Ai leaned over and whispered, "Are you doing therapy or something? You've changed." Haruto smiled faintly. Something like that. Chapter 4. Mirror of the Self weeks turned into months. Haruto no longer forced meditation. Instead, he found pockets of presence. While washing dishes, while sipping coffee, while waiting at red lights. These became his real practice. One night, he returned to the center for a discussion with Sensei Daigo. Should every Buddhist meditate? He asked. Daigo looked at him long and deeply, as if weighing the whole city in his answer. Number not if by meditation you mean just sitting still and closing your eyes. But yes, if you mean living with awareness. Washing dishes with presence is meditation. Responding with kindness is meditation. Catching your anger before it erupts, that's meditation too. He continued, the purpose of meditation is not to escape the world, it's to see it as it is, clearly, without distortion, whether you're in a temple or a traffic jam. Chapter 5. Stillness. On the subway. Haruto began teaching what he was learning, gently, humbly. He didn't preach. He simply embodied stillness. At work, he created quiet moments before meetings. At home, he taught his younger brother to take 3 breaths before replying in arguments. Even his phone use changed. Every time he reached for it unconsciously, he paused and asked, "Why?" People noticed, not because he was louder, but because he was calmer. And in a city where everything screamed for attention, calm was revolutionary. Epilogue. The city is the temple. The city never slept. It pulsed, breathed, and roared through every hour of the day. Neon signs flickered like restless thoughts, and horns echoed like constant distractions in the mind. But to Haruto, the once restless executive, this chaos no longer felt like an enemy. It was his monastery. He stood on his 22nd floor balcony one late evening, looking over the sea of headlights below. The wind tousled his hair gently, the hum of the streets rising like an urban chant. In that moment, he realized something profound. You don't have to leave the city to find peace. You simply need to stop trying to escape yourself. When Haruto first asked if all Buddhists must meditate, he was really asking something deeper. Is there space for stillness in a life like mine? Now, after months of quiet practice, in elevators, in morning commutes, in moments of frustration, he knew the answer. The city is the temple. It teaches presence through noise. It teaches patience through traffic. It offers endless opportunities to return to breath, to practice restraint, to offer kindness amid pressure. Even failure becomes a form of practice. Each mistake another chance to respond, not react. He remembered Sensei Daigo's words. Meditation isn't about escape. It's about seeing clearly, even if what you see is messy. He had seen it all: anxiety, jealousy, burnout, distraction. But through mindfulness, he no longer drowned in it. He observed it, met it, moved through it. Slowly, the boundaries between meditation and life dissolved. Breathing became awareness. Walking became grounding. Listening became compassion. And so he lived not as a monk in robes, but as a monk in motion. A mindful being among deadlines and devices. A quiet mind amidst ringing phones and late-night emails. His friends noticed the shift. "You seem lighter," one said. "I stopped running," he replied. "I started watching." The streetlights flickered on, bathing the roads below in golden softness. The city hadn't changed, but he had. Where once he saw only noise, now he heard rhythm. Where once he saw pressure, now he felt opportunity. And where once he sought escape, now he found peace. In the very place that once overwhelmed him. Because the real Zen is not hidden in the mountains. It walks beside us in the grocery store. It whispers to us in the middle of traffic. It lives in the space between our thoughts and blooms in the silence between 2 heartbeats. As Haruto stepped back inside, closing the balcony door behind him, the wind gently swirled through the curtains. Soft, invisible, alive. He smiled. The city was still roaring, but now so was his stillness.